go through a big loss. And maybe we can throw it up on the screen for you, but when people go through grief or loss, they go through stages. Who's ever gone through a major loss? A job, a loved one, a relationship, right? The first thing that happens when you have that major loss, and we'll throw it up on the screen in a second here, I think, but the first thing that happens is you go through shock, right? It's like, it can't be. Shock and denial. It's like, I'm confused. I mean, it couldn't be. They're not dead. This couldn't have happened. How could they have fired me? How could they're going to shut down the whole world and keep us in our houses for 10 days? Oh, a year? Oh, 3 years? First step is shock and denial. Who's experienced this before knows what I'm talking about? Make a little noise if you're out there. And then you go to the next step. And that is, after the denial shows up, then people tend to get angry, or at least frustrated or irritated or maybe anxious. But I can't believe this is not right. This shouldn't have happened, right? And then, by the way, some people get stuck in anger and never get out of it the rest of their life. But if you keep growing, you go to the third stage. This is just another example of a pattern. Okay, out of the anger, go to the third stage and you start to find, okay, now people get sad. They're tired of being angry. So they go through sadness. They go through loss. Some people go into depression. And by the way, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know the pathway out, you can get stuck in sadness. Some people are still depressed years later. You'll meet a lady later this week in the next couple of days who lost her child and cancer at 2 years old. It was brutal. But she had 2 other children. And a lot of people, those other children feel like they're not enough because all the focus is on the one that's lost. And I can't even imagine the pain she went through. But she didn't get stuck in anger and sadness. She moved further. What's the next step that people go through? You may have done this during COVID, bargaining, like in your brain with God, like if you'll just do this, I'll do this. I'll promise if you get me through this, this will happen. It's kind of a negotiation stage with yourself or with God or with the world. And then finally, when most people get where they're okay, they go to acceptance. They start to say, well, it is what it is, and I just have to accept it. It's over. Now, I don't think that's the final step. That's the final step for most people. But I will tell you, the step that'll change your life if you're going through grief is at a 6th step. And that 6th step is for you to create something new. If there's one thing I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that we all know is everything in life changes and everything ends. That can sound depressing. Our lives end, everything ends. But when something ends, something new begins if you look for it, if you create it. So what we want to do here is see if we can't retool ourselves for this environment. When I say retool ourselves, what I really mean by that is, if you've ever seen a race like the Le Mans race, a 24-hour race, or they have some desert races in the Sahara Desert, if you have the greatest car in the world, the best car, Mercedes, whatever it is, and you try to do the 24-hour Le Mans or the Baja 1000 or the Dakar 9,300 miles, it's 12 days in the Sahara Desert, 75 people have died. I don't care how great your car is, you got to retool it for this environment. And we're in winter right now, where everybody's exaggerating the fear and making it worse than it is. You're going to have to retool your patterns in your own mind and body so that when things look terrible, you can still move forward. And it's not some BS positive thinking. I don't believe in positive thinking, just so you know. I believe in energy. People see me and on stage and there's 20,000 people in a stadium, they're jumping, and they think, oh, it's rah-rah positive thinking. I've never been into it. I don't believe in positive thinking. I don't think if you got a problem, I don't think if you got weeds in your garden, that you should go to your garden and chant, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. It's bullshit. I'm the guy that says, let's find the weeds and pull them out. Who's with me on that?